Have you ever loved someone who hurts you? Not just once, not just twice, but over and over again. And no matter how many times they disappoint you, or no matter how many tears you cried, no matter how many promises they broke, you still couldn't let them go. You told yourself you were done. You even packed your bags. You blocked their number, and much more. You swear to God you will never ever go back. And somehow you went back. And you went back again, and you went back again. If you ever experience that kind of relationship, you may have wondered, what is wrong with me? Why can't I move on? Why do I miss someone who hurts me? Hello, somebody, that was me as well. Why does my heart still want someone who hurts me? Why I want to be still in unhealthy relationship? And today we are talking about a subject that has trapped many women in painful relationship. And we will speak about trauma bonds. And before we go any further, I need you to hear these ladies. The fact that you are struggling to let go does not mean you are weak. Okay, you are not weak. It does not mean you are foolish or anything like that. And it does not even mean you are crazy. What you are experiencing may be much deeper than love, okay? Because one of the biggest misconceptions about toxic relationship is that people stay because they love the other person too much. But often they stay because they are trapped into a trauma bond, okay? And if you don't understand what a trauma bond is, you will keep blaming yourself for something you don't fully understand. So let's begin. What is a trauma bond? What is a trauma bond? A trauma bond is a powerful emotional attachment formed through cycle of the pain and rebirth. In simple terms, someone hurts you, and then they comfort you. They warn you, and then they apologize, okay? Or they reject you, and then they pursue you. Or maybe they break your heart, for example, and then they become the person who helps put the pieces back together again. Over time, your brain becomes attached to this cycle. I hope you understand what I try to say. Not because it's healthy, but because it's familiar, okay? It's the familiar, it's something the brain remember, and that's where many women get confused, because trauma bonds often feels incredibly intense. The relationship feels passionate or more deep, powerful, or for example, unforgettable. You think maybe this must be love because I never felt anything like this before. I never felt so strong, nothing like this before. But intensity is not always intimacy, and emotional house is not evidence of deep connection. So sometimes what's happened, sometimes what feels like powerful love is actually emotional dependency created through repeated cycle of pain and relief. I hope I make sense. And let me explain you this. Imagine someone starving you, for example. Someone starving you, and then occasionally they feed you again. Every meal will feel for you like extraordinary now, okay? And that's exactly what's happened in many toxic relationships. What's happened is the affection becomes inconsistent, love becomes unpredictable, and attention becomes conditional. And because you actually never know when you will receive the next moment of kindness, the next meal, every small act of affection feels incredibly significant for you, okay? The second truth nobody talks about in that trauma bonds often begin with what feels like a dream. Most toxic relationships don't start with abuse, okay? Be honest. They start with idealization. When you idealize something, the person may shower you with attention, compliments, promises. They maybe make you feel very special, chosen, loved, important, and for sure they make you feel seen in a way you have never felt before. You just feel special. And because the beginnings feel so wonderful, your mind keeps it and it keeps trying to get back to that version of the relationship, even after things become unhealthy. Okay? Even after the disrespect begins, even after the manipulation starts, you keep chasing the person they were in the beginning. And maybe that person even don't exist. The problem is that at the beginning may not have been the real relationship. It may have been the bait, and many women spend years trying to recover a version of someone that never fully exists. And now let's talk about one of the most painful realities of trauma bonds, and the relationship become addictive. And yes, I say that, addictive, and that's so true, because research has shown that unpredictable rewards creates powerful attachments. And if you think about, for example, gambling, people don't become addicted because they win every day or every time, right? But they become addicted because they win occasionally. The possibility keeps them hopeful. And the same is with toxic relationship. Toxic relationship often operates the same way, because the affection isn't consistent and the love isn't stable. The kindness isn't reliable. But everyone's in a while, they become the person you wish they were all the time. And that moment, that special moment, keeps you hooked. You begin living for those occasional highs. Okay, and this is why living a trauma bond can feel like, I don't even know how to explain it. It just feels so bad. You don't just miss the person, you miss the emotional cycle, actually. You miss the hope. Yeah, you miss the fantasy of who they could become, or I don't know, and what's happening. That's why healing often feels so difficult. We don't realize we need healing because you are craving more than for a relationship. You are craving an illusion. And the third truth nobody talks about is that trauma bonds often connect to old wounds. This is where healing becomes deeper than simply ending the relationship, because sometimes the relationship attached itself to something that exists long time before the relationship began. Maybe there was some rejection, maybe you come to some neglect, or maybe some low self-worth, the need to be chosen, or the needs to feel valuable, or the needs to earn love. Toxic relationships often know exactly where these wants are. Remember that, and once those wants become activated, the relationship starts feeling bigger than it really is. Okay, so for example, you are no longer fighting only for the relationship. You are fighting for validation. You are fighting for the worth. You are fighting for healing that the relationship was never capable of providing. For example, that's why many women leave one toxic relationship only to enter another. Because the relationship changed doesn't mean, because the relationship changed, but the wounds remain. And until the wounds are healed, and I mean completely healed, unhealthy patterns often repeat themselves over and over again. Now, here is another truth. Trauma bonds create confusion, okay? They create confusion. One day they love you, the next day they're ignoring you. One day they promise you change, and the next day repeat the same behavior, same cycle. And one day make you feel special, like you feel so special, and next day they make you feel invisible. Over time, the inconsistency affects your confidence. And it's so true. I'm telling you the truth because I've been there, and you begin questioning yourself, your memory, your judgment, your intuition, and whatever. And once that happens, living becomes even harder. Did you hear me? Because now you don't trust your own decision anymore. This is why many women stay longer than they ever imagined they would. Not because they don't see the problems, but because they have been starting doubting themselves. And that is one of the most damaging effects of toxic relationship. Now, let's talk about how trauma bonds are broken, okay? Because healing is possible. I'm telling you right now, healing is possible. Freedom is possible. Wholeness is possible for you, okay? But it begins with truth. You need to be honest. The first step is recognizing that what you are experiencing may not be love. You need to be honest with yourself. I know that's difficult to hear that, but so true. But healing begins when we stop romanticizing pain, or love shall not require you to lose yourself. Love shall not require endless suffering. Love should not require constant confusion. So please, love also should not require you to abandon your dignity, because healthy love brings stability, respect, brings trust, brings safety. Did you hear me? Brings safety, consistency. And the second step is accepting reality. Please hear me now. Accepting reality. No potential, not promises, not future possibilities, but reality. Okay? Reality. Who are they today? Not who they may become. Not who they were 3 years ago. But not who they are when everything is perfect. Okay? Or for example, who are they consistently? Because patterns reveal character. Remember that. The patterns reveal the character, and character determine the future. So the third step is rebuilding your relationship with yourself. Many women spend so much time trying to save the relationship that they lose connection with themselves. And your healing requires learning to trust yourself again. You need to start trust yourself again, listening to your intuition again, honoring your boundary again. You hear me? Please, honoring your boundary again, valuing your needs again, and believing your worth again, because toxic relationships often teach women that their needs don't matter. Healing teaches them that they do matter. They do matter for sure. And finally, what I want to say, finally, healing requires allowing God into the place that pain has occupied. Because many women are trying to recover from heartbreak while still carrying wounds that only God can heal. The relationship may have ended, but what happened? The rejection remains. The insecurity remains. That's why the true healing isn't just moving on from the one person to another person, from relationship to relationship. It's allowing God to heal you, to heal the part of you that attached yourself to someone who was hurting you. Allow God to heal you. Notice what God heals. Not just the relationship, but the heart. God need heal your heart, but He need your permission, because healed hearts make different choices. Healed hearts recognize red flags. And healed hearts establish boundaries, okay? And healed hearts stop chasing people who are breaking them, okay? Stop chasing people who are breaking them. And healed hearts understand that being chosen by the wrong person is not better than waiting for the right one. So if you are struggling to let go of someone who keeps you hurting you, remember this: the pain of leaving a trauma bond is temporary. The pain of staying in one can last for years. Remember that, please, because you do not have to stay trapped in this relationship. You do not have to keep repeating the same cycle over and over again. You do not have to keep confused and housed with love, because your story is not over and your healing is possible. I say again, your healing is possible. And the moment you stop chasing what is breaking you is often the moment God begins rebuilding you. Because freedom starts when truth replaces confusion. Okay? And healing starts when you finally believe that you deserve more than survival. Did you hear me? You deserve peace. You deserve much more. You deserve wholeness. You deserve love. You deserve the kind of love that doesn't require you to lose yourself in order to keep it. I hope this video blessed you, and I hope I will see you in next video. If you like this video, please make sure you like it, you subscribe, and you share. God bless you. See you next time. Bye.